Activision is a very well-known company that has had many titles like Call of Duty that have stood out against any other game franchise and have lived to this day with huge public reception, huge public appraisal, and were some of the best video games back in the day. However, as of recently, Activision's reputation has very quickly sunk like an anchor to the bottom of the public sphere, and very quickly it's become very clear that they no longer have the capability to make a game like the games they used to make, and while sometimes they will have games that hit the expectations of many of the players, a lot of their games fall short. However, the concept of Activision not being a company that lives up to the previous expectations they set for themselves is not the focus of the video. Instead, I'd like to discuss their recent misconduct with many of their female employees allegedly, and how a lawsuit from a government agency has highlighted many different issues with Activision's behavior, and private emails from Activision's team that have been leaked have exemplified exactly how Activision is trying to damage control this situation away by pretending that nothing's going on, and using excuses like these things are out of context and in the past to justify and explain away sexual misconduct in the workplace and sexual harassment. Before I begin this video though, I'd like to make it very clear that this video will be an unbiased look at the evidence I've seen, and everything stated from this point forward and before is completely alleged and my own opinion based on the evidence I have seen, which means that anything stated in this video is my own opinion based on the evidence at the time, which could change if more evidence would be presented towards me, and as such, I cannot be sued. And before I begin, if you're new to the channel or haven't already for some reason, please do consider subscribing to the channel, as I'm aiming for 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and a goal as insane as that is simply only possible with the support of you and many other people that are watching these videos. As such, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do consider clicking it, and also feel free to go down below and check out my other social media linked in the description, or consider donating by clicking the join button to become a channel member, and you'll get some cool icons, and also I'll try and heart as many of your comments as I can. With that being said, let's get right into it. These alleged issues became a huge problem when the legal document was posted publicly and everybody saw their first eyes on the claims made. The first claim being that the defendants have fostered a pervasive frat boy workplace culture that continues to thrive. In the office, women are subjected to cube crawls in which male officers drink copious amounts of alcohol as they crawl their way through various cubicles in the office, and often engage in inappropriate behavior towards female employees. Male employees proudly come into work hungover, play video games for long periods of time during work while delegating their responsibilities to female employees, engage in banter about sexual encounters, talk openly about female bodies, and joking about forcing yourself upon a female, the word of which I cannot say for the sake of getting this video monetized. If these claims are true, it makes sense why Activision's games have fallen so quickly from prominence and so quickly have become regarded as terrible games that have completely dissatisfied long-time standing fans of the game. Obviously, I'm kidding, that isn't really the issue that this highlights. Obviously, the main issue that this document highlights is the fact that allegedly in the Activision Blizzard team, there was a herd of people that were involving themselves in misconduct towards female employees and acting in very disrespectful and very poor taste ways in the workplace that were actively affecting the work product and fostering an unhealthy environment around female employees. The claims continue. In another example, a female employee who worked at Blizzard Entertainment was assigned to a lower level, denied equal pay, and passed over a promotion despite multiple factors that suggested she earned it. Despite her accomplishments, her male counterpart was invited to have monthly or weekly one-on-one meetings with the vice president. She was not afforded these same opportunities, and unsurprisingly, she was passed over for a promotion in favor of her male counterpart. This is a huge issue if these claims are true, as alongside dealing with the incredibly awful circumstances and treatment in the office, they are also being disrespected by their higher-ups and being mistreated, not paid equally, and demeaned based purely on the fact that they are female if these claims are true, which would be a terrible position for a company like Blizzard to hold, and would represent the fact that their workplace is incredibly awful at respecting and supporting female employees, regardless of their gender. The PDF continues. Similarly, other female employees at Blizzard Entertainment were assigned to lower level roles, denied equal pay, and further delayed or passed over promotion in favor of male counterparts who lacked the same experience or qualifications but were friends with the male head of the unit. A newly promoted male supervisor delegated his responsibilities to his now female subordinates in favor of playing Call of Duty. Other male supervisors would refuse to communicate with female employees, going to their male counterparts for more information. This is something I could definitely see happening, and I'm going to regurgitate the information said by some ordinary gamers here, as obviously I don't have as much life experience as someone like them. They said that in the real world, this is something that's quite common and very predictable. It's a situation where someone knows a guy that they're friends with, and as such they bring them into the team and promote them up so that they can help a friend, and it's not necessarily uncommon. However, it is a terrible way of managing your system, and even then you should still support the female employees if they're doing their best and doing better work than the men. Promoting employees based on nothing but the fact that you have friendships with them is an incredibly poor way to run a business, and would very easily lead to more predicaments and more situations in the future. And while everything said here isn't everything claimed, and there is a lot more you should read, I'll highlight a few more things later, but this document really does exemplify the fact that this workplace was incredibly disgusting, and the employees were being severely mistreated. A response was very quickly released to this lawsuit, in which it was explained that the DFEH includes distorted and in many cases false descriptions of Blizzard's past, as Blizzard has apparently been extremely cooperative with the DFEH throughout their investigation, including providing them with extensive data and ample documentation, but they refused to inform us about what issues they perceived. They were required by law to adequately investigate and to have good faith discussions with us to better understand and to resolve any claims or concerns before going to litigation, but they failed to do so. Instead, they rushed to file an inaccurate complaint, as we will demonstrate in court. We are sickened by the reprehensible conduct of the DFEH to drag into the complaint the tragic side of an employee whose passing has no bearing whatsoever on this case, and with no regard for her grieving family. While we find this behaviour to be disgraceful and unprofessional, it is unfortunately an example of how they have conducted themselves throughout the course of their investigation. It is this type of irresponsible behaviour from unaccountable state bureaucrats that are driving many of the state's best businesses out of California, and in response to this, I have to highlight the fact that absolutely nothing was shown to support any of these claims, and it's filled with buzzwords that they try to use to justify themselves, while simultaneously blaming the DFEH for mentioning the tragic side of an employee, and not the fact that that claim does highlight the fact that Activision Blizzard had employees that were severely mistreating women and leading them to those positions. The fact that that was brought up in an investigation that you were aware was happening is proof that your behavior has been incredibly disgusting, allegedly, and the fact that you're trying to blame them for bringing that up highlights more about you than them, as you're the one trying to use it as an excuse to get away from backlash. And I think your arrogance in calling yourself one of the state's best businesses out of California is laughably untrue. Nobody really likes Activision Blizzard at all. Also, they claim this was rushed, but this investigation has been going on for years. Following this information being brought to public attention, 2 emails were leaked from employees at Blizzard that showed a lot more about this situation than it first presented. The first being from JAB, who said, "Hello Blizzard, I personally have a lot of emotions coming out of yesterday, and I know you do too. The allegation and the hurt of the current and former employees are extremely troubling. I know many of you would like to receive more clarity. While I can't comment on the specifics of the case as it's an open investigation, what I can say is that the behavior detailed in the allegations is completely unacceptable. It goes with saying it is completely unacceptable for anyone here in the company to face discrimination or harassment. It goes with saying that everyone should feel safe working here, whether we are a campus, at BlizzCon, or working from home. It goes with saying it takes courage to come forward, and all the claims brought to the company are investigated by internal and, when needed, external investigators. We take these claims very seriously. Claims can be made without fear of retaliation, and many times I attended them personally, along with other leaders. Stepping back, when I talked with Bobby about taking this job, one of the first things I mentioned was a revered saint of the Brack household, Gloria Steinem. Growing up, the value of women as equals, understanding the work that had been done for equal treatment, and the fact there was still much to do were common themes. This is just one of the reasons why the fight for equality is incredibly important to me. People with different backgrounds, views, and experiences are essential for Blizzard, our teams, and our player community. I disdain bro culture and have spent my entire career fighting against it. Iterating on our culture with the same intensity that we bring our games is imperative, with our values acting as our North Star. This is some of the most important work we do, both as professionals and human beings. This email closes with Jab saying that you can reach out to anyone on the staff team, and they will be looking into answering questions and discussing how they move forward. And I believe overall this was a decent response, much better than the public response that was a lot more accepting of the reality of this situation, saying that they believe everything detailed in the allegations is unacceptable and that they want everybody to feel completely included and not discriminated or harassed, and that they want people to feel safe and they want people to come forward and they support the people that are coming forward, which I believe is a decent response that highlights exemplary conduct from this Blizzard employee. And I personally don't believe that they are the person that is responsible for what has happened here. However, it is also incredibly important to note that he says that he's listening to victim stories personally. However, it was cited within the lawsuit that female employees had raised further complaints and they'd never actually had their complaints listened to, or they were devalued and reasonable action was not taken in response to these complaints, and the validity of that is questionable, and obviously that doesn't necessarily mean it's JAB's fault. However, it is an important note to take, as it does highlight that there were some people at Blizzard allegedly that were not respecting these people and were not getting them the support and help and reasonable action that they needed in situations where they asked for it. However, another email that was leaked from Fran, the chief compliance officer at Blizzard, tells a whole different story of damage control and excuses, with them citing the claims as factually incorrect, old and out of context stories, some from more than a decade ago, and continuing saying that when they joined, they were certain that they were looking at a company where they would be valued, treated with respect, and provided opportunities equal to those afforded to men within the company, and for them, this has been true during their time, which I personally believe is fine if that's their own personal experience. However, I don't feel like they should be citing that as conclusive fact, like that experience changes the experiences of anyone else at Blizzard. Furthermore, they continue saying they're proud to be part of a company that takes a hardline approach to inappropriate and hostile work environments and sexual harassment issues, and that their Speak Up campaign reinforces their zero tolerance for retaliation against those who speak up. And this response then continues to make more excuses justifying their behavior and claiming that all of these issues are old and they've been resolved, and like the new Blizzard now is different from the old Blizzard, which doesn't change the fact that the stuff in the past still happened. And even then, they cite no conclusive fact or no conclusive even direct statement that would prove anything here to be old, out of context, factually incorrect, or from more than a decade ago. And as such, I believe all of the claims, considering they were only discovered and documented a few years ago, highlights the fact that this behavior is still continuing to this day. Though the thing that really boils my piss here is the fact that the chief compliance officer for Blizzard was telling their employees in private emails that their employees were not experiencing anything and the equality was there, which I think is an incredibly stupid thing to say, as obviously you aren't the one experiencing it, it's them that are experiencing it, and speaking on their experiences and telling them that this isn't the company they knew and that this company is a great company with good values is an incredibly ignorant, haphazard, and stupid way of saving face through PR statements and bold-faced lies. With that being said though, I think I've said enough here, and I hope this video has highlighted every issue with Activision Blizzard as it's been presented so far. This is the full story as of this moment, and if more information comes out, I'll be sure to make a follow-up part 2 where I go in depth on all the new information and keep you in touch. So if you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, you'll be notified if that video does release, if more information comes out. However, as this is an ongoing legal investigation, who knows when that information could possibly come out. With that being said, you can just consider subscribing, as I'm aiming for 50k by the end of the year. I post content like this all the time, and I post at 6 PM GMT, 1 PM EST every single day. You can also check out my other social media linked in the description, and feel free to click the join button down below next to the subscribe button and notification button that you should both click, remember. And if you click that button, you'll get these 3 icons and you'll support me financially. With that being said, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Says she wanna rock with it like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap with it like me. We can catch a fly. Says she wanna rock with it like me.